The second half of the season began at Hockenheim with its fast straights through the tall pines. Here, straight-line speed is vital, so Mansell tried a new ultra-low rear wing. Meanwhile, Williams designer Patrick Head described the logistics of the suspension change at Silverstone.
We made the decision just after 2 o'clock on the Friday. I rang Gary Thomas, who runs the drawing office, and we decided on a course of action. He did some calculations. I got down to the factory about 3:30. We verified what course we were taking and got the buying office to look for a particular type of spring, which is the only type of spring that we could actually fit into the very small space we had. The buying office located some at about 5 to 5 and a company that was closing at 5 o'clock, and persuaded somebody there to take some home with him, and we sent off a driver to pick them up at about 7 o'clock that evening. Some people from the machine shop went home at 4 o'clock to come back in again at about 8, 9 o'clock, and the drawing office redesigned the installation at the front end of the car to turn a hydraulic actuator into a damper and to make provision for the spring mechanism. That was made through the night. At about 6 o'clock in the morning, the first of the front units was assembled and went up to our testing area where it was tested to see the damper characteristic was okay. And I left the factory at about 6:45 on Saturday morning, arrived at Silverstone at about 7:35. Well, obviously the result was very good, and we were in such trouble previously. We were in desperate need of a good result. We got 2 cars to finish, one of them in second place. It was, in the circumstances, a very good result for us. I mean, I did think to myself, driving up to Silverstone on Saturday morning, that it had all the potential to be an even bigger disaster than the active suspension setup doing something as quickly as that. But it worked out okay. And now it's not really an ideal installation for a mechanically suspended car, and it causes it to have a few problems, and we're still having to learn here to try and make it behave as if it was an ideal installation.
And Williams were in the news again, for they had rapidly signed Benetton driver Thierry Boutsen as Nigel's replacement for 1989.
Benetton is still a very, very good team, one of the best coming up teams, but it's still a coming up team, lack of maturity maybe a little bit, and there are quite a few reasons for my decision, but I think mainly it's because of all the history of Williams, so the fact that they can, if they go for it, they can win a championship next year.
If there was one lucky man at Hockenheim, it was Gerhard Berger. He had this amazing spin in practice at 180 miles an hour when lapping Eddie Cheever and Oscar Larori. The Ferrari was virtually undamaged, but it must have frightened the hell out of him. It had been exactly 10 years since Nelson Piquet made his Grand Prix debut here at Hockenheim, and he had a typically mischievous Piquet hope for his 150th Grand Prix.
Oh, the two McLarens hit each other in the first corner and led the race for me.
Nelson's sense of adventure didn't stop there either, for he was one of a handful of drivers to choose slick tyres to start the second wet Grand Prix in succession.
So Ayrton Senna on his customary pole position for the German Grand Prix after a 2-race absence, and there at the start Senna off into the lead, but Prost another bad start as Berger goes into second place and Alessandro Nannini up into third place. Prost down to fourth in the blinding spray at the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim. So Senna leads. That's where he wants to be, out front, away from the spray, but there are a few drivers out there on slick tyres. Senna in the lead into the Ost curve. Behind him, Gerhard Berger, then Nannini, then Prost, then Alboreto, then Gugelmin well up in the march, and Nelson Piquet spinning away on slick Sterling.
Well, I reckon he must have got slightly offline coming in there onto the slightly wetter part than he thought, because it certainly wasn't the right decision under those conditions, was it?
Certainly wasn't, but Ayrton Senna out front on his grooved wet weather tyres as Nelson Piquet tried to get his car back to the pits, and he must have sustained some damage. Yes, the side pods were all broken up, but Senna in the lead of the German Grand Prix, a Ferrari in second place, a Benetton in third place with Nannini, and Prost, after that very poor start, was down in fourth place, not doing his championship hopes any good. Then came Alboreto fifth, and sixth was Capelli. Into the pits came Piquet. The Lotus mechanics had a quick look at that left-hand side. The intercooler underneath that bodywork obviously damaged as well. So Nelson's PK's big gamble didn't pay off. Gerhard Berger now being attacked by Prost, who's gone past Nannini and up into third place. So Prost starting to move slowly but surely. And Senna coming up upon one of the back markers. It's Alliot who moves out of his way. Alliot on slicks, and he spins off in the same place as Nelson Piquet.
I think there must be holding water there a bit, you know, and of course the track is drying out, and to go from dry onto that definite wet like that would of course affect his slicks very badly.
That was hard luck for Alliot. Here it is in the replay. He tries to get out of the way of leader Ayrton Senna in the McLaren. And as you say, Sterling, off on that water. You can see it all on the outside. Just clipped the tyre barrier. And that rear tyre and the half shaft obviously broken. And the end of the race for Philippe Alliot. Gerhard Berger in the Ferrari now coming under attack from Alain Prost. Third place in the McLaren. That's that long straight down the back past the east curve. Prost going down the inside and into second place. Yes, that was a great maneuver. So Senna still in the lead, and Mansell into the pits.
And he looks to me as though he wants to retire. He's in 7th place, but wait a minute, the team didn't allow him to, and they sent him out for another go. And there comes Caffey with his whole tyre missing, running on the right-hand rim there.
Well, it seems that wets or slicks are better than no tyres at all, and Andrea De Cesaris spins off into those little marbles and pebbles on the outside. He's about to shower the circuit with all his debris from the outside of the track. That's the Real Ford car. It was spin for De Cesaris. There go all the little stones, out they come, and somebody's going to run over those and probably spin off on them. Gerhard Berger coming across Ghinzani. Ghinzani didn't see him. He takes to the grass, didn't spin. A fabulous bit of driving from Gerhard Berger, but I bet you he's angry.
Yeah, I think there was a actually, you can see him shaking his fist, and I don't blame him. But I don't think he was seen. I think that was the trouble. But what a lovely avoidance he did. Beautiful.
Difficult east curve, and even Alain Prost, the best of them, spins off at that treacherous part of the track, and he still manages to keep his second place incredibly. Off Prost goes again, but he's lost a lot of time to the leader Senna. In the meantime, Nannini, who had been in 4th position, came into the pits with engine problems. That's a shame for Nannini, because he was having another great drive after his fabulous showing at Silverstone. Ayrton Senna, 1 lap to go. The wet weather master. He won his first wet weather race in Portugal in 1985. He won at Silverstone in the wet. He's going to win the German Grand Prix in the wet. Senna first, Prost second, Berger third, Alboreto 4th, Capelli 5th, and Thierry Boutsen 6th. The score, Prost 4, Senna 5.
Good fun. We will have good fun from now on.
Maybe we fight outside the car.
I think it's gonna get more and more exciting, the championship.
Is it possible to be equal? The championship?
No.
Shit.
Can only be one winner.